I really believe that staying at home is such a blessing to the family, and it is more attainable than we think it is in our culture. It just may mean giving up some of life's comforts that we don't need, like a big house. Hey everyone, my name is Amanda, and for those of you who are new here, I run the blog Faith and Home, which is all about encouraging women to pursue their biblical role. Today we are going to be talking about how you actually can afford to be a housewife or stay at home mom in most circumstances. I think it's actually more attainable than we think it is. And that doesn't mean that it won't come without sacrifices or downsizing or any of those kind of things, or maybe coming up with some side money at home. But I know a ton of families that really make very, very modest incomes and make it work. And so I'm going to go over 5 ways that you can budget, cut costs, and save money to make being a stay-at-home housewife or mom possible. Before we jump into today's video, I think it's really important just to really focus on the true reason why you want to be a homemaker, housewife, or stay-at-home mom. Are you doing it because it's what you believe God is calling you to? Are you just doing it for some other reason? Because this is really going to affect whether or not doing these things I'm going to mention are worth it to you or not in your journey of becoming a homemaker. So really, like, deep down, think about the true reason why this is something you're looking into and desiring. And if you feel that God is calling you to it, know that what He calls us to, He will provide in. And also, that is a bigger reason than ourselves, right? You're not doing it to glorify yourself. You're doing it to glorify God, if that's truly why you're looking into this. So making those sacrifices are worth it, because our life is supposed to be about glorifying God, and He's already given us enough, more than we deserve, through salvation alone. So making these sacrifices aren't such a big thing to live out the life He has called us to. If your motivation is somewhere elsewhere, these tips, recommendations, and ways to budget may still be helpful to you and worth it, but they also may not be worth it to you. So just getting that out there, that some of these are going to be downsizing and things that might not be pleasing to our flesh. But if your reason behind this is it's really what you feel like God's calling you to, then making those sacrifices should be totally worth it. And we aren't supposed to desire things of this world. We're supposed to desire heavenly things. So that's just some encouragement for the beginning of this video before I hop into these tips and ways that you can make it manageable for almost any income. Of course, it might depend where you live and stuff like that. But let's hop into today's video. So tip number 1, and definitely the most essential one to probably start out with, is looking over your monthly expenses, creating a budget, and eliminating unnecessary expenses. A lot of times we don't actually realize how much we're spending on certain things and where our money is going. So track what your spending habits have been for the last 3 to 6 months and figure out where you can cut cost. Figure out if there's any unnecessary subscriptions that you have. Adam and I just went through all our subscriptions, like business subscriptions, subscriptions I've had for my blog, all those kind of things, like paid subscriptions, and just cut everything that we really didn't find ourselves using. And that probably saved us like $150 a month, which that in itself is a crazy number. But if you think about $150 times 12, that's well over $1,000. You're probably close to $2,000 a year that you're just essentially throwing away if you aren't using those subscriptions. So even if subscriptions are $5, $10, or $15 a month, they really do add up, especially when you think about like a year's time span. So yeah, look at your budget, see where you can cut. Also, you might realize that you're spending way too much money on coffee or fast food, or not fast food, but maybe going out or those kind of things. So creating a budget and looking over your spending habits can really help just figure out where you can be cutting things, where you're throwing out money essentially. And honestly, you will probably be surprised by how much extra like money is essentially being thrown out because of impromptu purchases or monthly expenses that are coming out that you really don't even realize are coming out and haven't paid attention to. Okay, my second tip for saving money is to meal plan. So this is everything from planning out your meals throughout the week and creating a grocery list, to if you're someone that finds yourself while you're out and about running errands, grabbing food because you don't have time to make something at home or don't have something with you, to meal planning your lunches or breakfast or whatever you have it that you tend to go out and buy a lot at the beginning of the week. So you just have them ready to grab. You can take it with you when you're running errands and do all that. So grocery list planning and meal planning all the meals, dinners you're going to be making, and lunches and breakfast throughout the week is going to save you so much money, because impromptu grocery store trips end up leading to so many extra costs. You want to try to minimize your grocery store trip to once a week, or if you're really great at planning, maybe you can do once every other week as well. But if you're doing a lot of fresh veggies and all that kind of stuff, then you probably will be going once a week, just so you aren't being wasteful. But there are a ton of meal planning services that can help you with this. A great way to save money also is to consolidate the ingredients that you're shopping with. So try to get stuff that's using the same fruits and veggies or the same meats, because if you have a ton of meals that are using the similar ingredients, same or similar ingredients, then you can buy those ingredients in bulk, and buying in bulk is always cheaper. Also, think about the meats that you're planning. So chicken just tends to be cheaper than beef or seafood. So you can try to do maybe the majority of your meals either vegetarian, chicken, and then do 1 or 2 meals a week that have a red meat option or a seafood option to give some variety. But yeah, there is so many ways to save in budget with meal planning. If you guys want a more in-depth video on just that, let me know, because that is definitely an area where Adam and I have cut our expenses in previous seasons, and still definitely don't go crazy with meal planning, but that's not somewhere that we're really digging into to save money at the moment. But I do have experience with cutting our food cost way down when needed. So if you guys want tips and tricks on that while like still eating healthy, then let me know. But yeah, if you can plan out all your meals in advance and not make extra grocery store trips throughout the week, that is just going to save you so much money, because those extra grocery store trips, you usually will have a craving and you'll buy stuff that is not needed for the meals, or you just haven't planned out the meals, so your ingredients are going to be all over the place. And not only will you probably be wasting a good amount of food, but you're going to up your costs by using so many different ingredients by not planning out your meals in advance. My third tip is a lot of people don't actually realize how much childcare costs. So if you're working, you are already putting so much money into either childcare or potentially school lunches, school activities, or maybe you're paying for private school, and that's one of the reasons why you have convinced yourself that you need to work to have the money for a Christian private school or something like that. So that being said, you are going to save a ton of money by staying home and being your kid's childcare. So, and your kid's teacher. and all of that. So I'm not saying that you have to homeschool if you're a stay-at-home mom or wife, but if you're looking into private school and you think that's only an option if you're working, so you're making the money for it, know that homeschool is a totally legitimate and great option. Homeschool programs have grown so much throughout the recent years, and you can socialize your kids a ton, give them a really solid education, and you are capable of doing that. God has equipped you for everything that you need to take care of your children. I truly believe that. And especially today, there are so many resources. Oftentimes with homeschooling, you still have teachers for certain subjects like online on videos, and they teach you how to teach your kids. So you're totally capable. You don't have to give up private school if that's something that you are looking into. You can do homeschooling, get the same awesome education and hands-on experience and the same values by doing it yourself. Or if you were paying for childcare, you won't have to pay for childcare when you're home. You can take care of your children. So that is just going to save you money. And also, if you just send your kids to school, by staying home, you can pack lunches way easier, still cut some cost by staying home. Tip number 4 is to downsize. So when you're looking over your budget, you're probably going to see where you have monthly payments that you just think that you have to make, but might not necessarily be needing to make. So if you and your husband both have cars and both or one of them isn't paid off, if you are going to be a stay-at-home mom and a homemaker, there's a better chance that you guys might be able to live off just one of your cars. So obviously that depends on your husband's job, and maybe if he has to use that to go out of town, the vehicle and stuff like that. But if it's at all possible, downsizing to one car is a super effective way to save money, and I know a ton of families that have done that. But it can be other things too. Are you making payments on anything that you really isn't a necessity, you don't need? Maybe you have some electronics that you could downsize to. Maybe you don't need your iPad or something like that. You can sell it and pay off your debt and not make those monthly payments. Now, I don't know what this might be for different people. Your monthly expenses and everything you have is going to look different. This could also be your house. Do you have a house that is bigger than what you need? Now, like I said, depending on your motivation for being a homemaker, this may be a sacrifice you are or aren't willing to make. But I know many families who have downsized their home to be homemakers and stay-at-home moms and make it something that is attainable for them. Do your kids really all need their own bedroom, or can they share? Do you really need a guest bedroom, or can you live without that? Maybe have a couch bed or something to accommodate people when they come in town still. These are all things that you can talk about with your spouse and really just see what you guys are willing to pare down on to achieve the lifestyle that you feel you're being called and led to. But there are a ton of just effective ways that we can downsize in things in our lives, and these may be things that we don't want to downsize on, but realistically, if we are really coming and looking at it with an open and soft heart to what God is calling us to, there are things that we most likely can pare down on and downsize on to make our lives more affordable and more accommodating to having a life of being a stay-at-home mom or wife. Okay, my 5th and final tip is to plan out ways to supplement income. So if you are making a portion of your income, whether large or small, it is going to seem super intimidating to lose that, whether it's for, security purposes, even if just your income alone was being put into savings or whatever you have it is going to be scary to lose that all at once. And also, it may be something that your family just can't do right off the bat. It's something to strive for, losing a full income and just relying on your husband's and So brainstorm ways that he can be raising his income, but also brainstorm ways that you can bring in income from home. So if you own your home, a good thing to look into potentially would be getting certified so you can do childcare in your home, and maybe taking on 1 or 2 kids a couple days of the week and doing some in-home childcare along with your own kids. That's a great way that you can still stay at home while bringing in revenue and income for your family. Or I know a ton of stay-at-home moms that do little side hustles. Some are MLMs, some are making their own goods, some are doing service work like photography once a week or something like that, that still gives them a ton of flexibility to stay home and make that their #1 priority. Now, with all these tips in mind, I know that even going through all these things, it's probably not going to be an adjustment that you can make tomorrow for most people. These are most likely going to be things that you and your husband are going to need to talk about, really ask and pray for wisdom and discernment on, get advice from your community on where you can cut costs, looking at your budget, all those kind of things. These are things that you're probably going to need to meditate on and really dig into for a little bit. Pray for wisdom and really get peace of what you should be doing. But these are basically the tips that Adam and I have used, that I've seen other ladies in our community use when they're transitioning from working to staying at home. So these are really some just practical ways that you can downsize your expenses, so your budget can be a little bit more flexible to a stay-at-home lifestyle. I hope you guys found this video encouraging. If you want me to go more in depth in any of the bullet points that I gave you guys today, let me know. I'm happy to make more specific budgeting videos to help encourage you guys and really just get you thinking about how this can be attainable for you and your husband and your family, because I really believe that staying at home is such a blessing to the family, and it is more attainable than we think it is in our culture. It just may mean giving up some of life's comforts that we don't need, like a big house or multiple cars, or extravagant meals, or going out to dinner all the time. But really, if we pare down and focus on the things that really matter, oftentimes I think this can be something that can be achieved on one income. We can take care of a family and maybe have those supplemental incomes where you're doing something on the side but can still focus on being home and taking care of your kids and really pouring into your husband and family. So I really just hope that this video encouraged you in that, and I would love to make any other videos on this subject that would help motivate you guys and give you ideas. So if you have any specific questions or areas that you would like me to talk about more in depth, let me know down in the comments, because I would be so happy to. Also, if you are a homemaker and you have tips and tricks for saving money, please put those down in the comments, because I'm sure people would love to hear what you have to say, and I would love to hear. I know that. I'm always looking for ways to be responsible with our money and be good stewards of our finances. Anyways, that is it for today's video. If you enjoyed it, felt encouraged by it, got some inspiration, any of the above, then please make sure to give this video a like, and don't forget to subscribe down below. Both of those things really help these videos get traction, and it helps more women who are interested in these kind of things see it. So I would really appreciate that, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye.